What's up, Mortgage Coach and Sales Boomerang community? Welcome to another Tuesday interview. Every Tuesday, 9 o'clock, we are bringing leadership to the mortgage industry. My goal is always to put on the best sales meeting of the week in the mortgage business. And today, to help make this the best sales meeting in the mortgage industry, we have Shivani. How are you doing, Shivani?
I'm great. I'm really excited to be here. These calls are always so much fun.
Well, I think this is my third time interviewing you. Does that seem right?
I think
or is this my second time? It's the second. Yeah, I feel like I know I did that full top producer interview with you.
I think you just feel bad that it took you 10 years to interview me the first time.
I think you're 100% right. Although you were on Scriptapalooza, not Scriptapalooza, but you were on
I think it was Scriptapalooza.
Summit.
I think it was Scriptapalooza.
Yeah, you were on Scriptapalooza too. So maybe I didn't interview those other times, but you are now becoming a regular in the Mortgage Coach Sales Boomerang community.
Which is a really big milestone for me in my career.
Right on. Yeah, no, you were pretty pumped. You have watched a number of our content. How much content have you watched in our community over the years?
I mean, over the years, I feel like because, doing this job sometimes, even if you're with a company that has a good culture, but it can be kind of lonely. So like finding the Mortgage Coach community and watching the content and tuning into the sales calls on Tuesday mornings was huge for me in my career, because it gives you like a support system, right? To navigate good markets, tough markets, to get started, to learn, and then to take your business to the next levels over time.
Yeah, well, you are a gift. You're right. I am bummed that it took me 10 years. I do remember the last interview. You were just weeks from having a baby. So how long ago was it that you had your child?
She's 8 months old now.
So it was 8 months. So it was probably 10 months, And so I wanna talk about how you're doing in this market.
Because a lot's changed in 10 months.
What's that?
A lot has changed in the market in 10 months.
That's an understatement. A lot's changed. It seems like every month is a brand new, kind of reality in the mortgage space. You pick the highlight in terms of just, bringing calm to your realtors and your borrowers. But before we get into the headline and specifically what you're doing, if you could just share how you're doing versus last year. Last year, I think you served 312 families. How are you? Are you down more than 20% this year?
No. So we're still helping a shit ton of families every month, because there's certain steps you can take in your business so that you can be recession proof, which is what we're going to talk about. There's certain steps in your business that you can take so that you establish yourself in your local marketplace as an advisor. And then the market cycle doesn't have such a dramatic impact on your business, because people will continue turning to you for advice. And to us, it's gotten a lot less. Like, people will always ask us, how are you doing all this and putting on all these events and sending a personalized video to every single client and creating a shit ton of content? You must not be closing a lot of loans. And we're like, oh, don't you worry. We are closing a lot of loans. But to us, it's a lot more about creating community and providing value amongst like-minded people. And we found that fuels the business regardless of market conditions.
Yeah, I love that. I've interviewed two other amazing women leaders in the space. Nicole Ruth, who did 290 million last year, and she's at the time I did the interview a month ago, she was actually up 4.5%. And the mortgage nerd Denise Donahue, who closes a crazy amount of loans, who's also up. And it's just interesting. They're also following that same strategy. They're creating community. They're educating at scale. They're using videos. So it's going to be interesting to hear your view on that. Did you happen to watch either one of those interviews?
I have to say, the thing about Denise, the thing about this community and these interviews, right, is that you find these people that you can admire in the community, right? And then I've connected with them outside of the calls and like collaborated on events, met them at live in-person conferences. Like, it's so cool, because you're right. Denise is like an icon. And then because of the Mortgage Coach community, she's a friend now. And I think that's a shit ton of value in itself. So I'm going to stop swearing right now. I'm not going to swear anymore.
Hey, be you, be your authentic self, whatever that is, we'll take it. I didn't actually know you and Denise were friends. And so that makes me super happy. When I facilitate events or lead masterminds, I always have a goal that you're going to get, like, this is going to be the best mastermind event you ever went to. And most importantly, you're going to create some new friends for life. Like some people that are killing it, they're like-minded in business, you get business value from it. And then the most valuable thing, friendship and just loving it. So that makes me super happy that you and Denise are friends now.
Besties.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, you already got a takeaway. You know, one, make sure you're watching the Mortgage Coach YouTube videos. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And then when you do find someone that you learn from, that you connected with, reach out, like connect, mastermind. So let's get into the headline. Why did you pick the headline that you did? And let's start drilling down on things.
So I bet in your guys' marketplaces, for everyone who's watching, lenders are calling realtors like never before, right? Asking them to go to coffee, putting on a happy hour, you know, trying to get their business. But it's, to me, that seems a little tone deaf because the market has shifted a lot, right? And realtors are freaking out themselves. Like they're worried about their business. They're talking to clients who are discouraged or sellers who can't get off the fence. So to me, it doesn't seem like the right thing to be doing. It doesn't seem like you're providing value if you're calling realtors every day and just going through your list to get business and make coffee dates, because they don't have the business to give you right now. I think that the better thing to be doing is to establishing yourself in your marketplace as a calm, stable expert, because that way you can be sharing with people, you know, market guidance. You've spent a lot of time researching what's happening, what's forecasted with these trends. You can be reaching out to realtors, and instead of saying, hey, let's go to coffee, because they don't need someone to buy them a coffee, you can say, hey, I've done a lot of research on what's happening here hyper locally in our market, and I have some ideas for you on how we can navigate this shift, how we can lean into it, and how we can grow your business. So my whole entire business strategy right now is all about giving everything away for free, being a resource for all my referral partners, and not asking them for anything in return. Because when the market turns, they're going to remember who was there supporting them versus asking them for something.
So guys, that's the same mentality in which I started doing interviews over a decade ago, coming out of the meltdown when there were no sales meetings in the mortgage industry. Everybody was just kind of hunkered down. It was very dark. And, you know, I started interviewing loan officers, you know, being the light, you know, being the lighthouse, bringing leadership, teaching and training. And I don't know that I align, like, don't call realtors. Like, I do think you got to do it all. So I
call them with something of value. Don't call them asking them for something.
Exactly. Yep. No,
don't call asking to go to coffee, because they don't need a coffee. They need help. They need market guidance.
Unless you have an idea, you know, yes. Hey, I have an idea how to help you reduce, not have to make as many price reductions on listings. Do you have 15 minutes so I can show you how to sell more of your listings in this market? You know, whatever. But I absolutely align, guys. You know, the most successful loan officers in this market, they're teaching realtors at scale. And here's the magic that you're going to see is not only will you be bringing value to realtors, but you're getting good at something. When you get so good at something that you can teach it with passion and confidence, you're good. Like, you become better from the inside out.
I was watching Instagram Reels and I saw Ryan Serhant post something that said, you don't live with the price you paid for the house. And then he went on a different tangent. But I was thinking, I was like, that's true. Like, you do not live with the price you paid. After you close, you're rarely going to think about, you know, the dollar amount, the price tag on the house. But one thing you'll think about every single month when you go to pay it is the mortgage payment. So I thought, okay, how can I show people that when you work with the right advisor, when you have the right real estate team guiding you through this market, the price of the house isn't as important, because we have different strategies that we can use to try to get you the monthly payment that you want, because that's really what you're going to live with. And then I, of course, was like, okay, the easiest way to show this is Mortgage Coach. I mean, that video has gone more viral than a lot of my videos that I pay a professional videographer to produce. And I just shot it on my iPhone, holding a camera at my computer screen with Mortgage Coach. Like, but it goes to show that when you can make things clear for people, then they'll engage with your content. They'll engage, the message will resonate with them, because the feedback I get is wow, I had no idea. Like, you really didn't change the price. You didn't change the down payment. I had no idea that there's so many different like financing strategies out there. And I'm like, well, that's because the basic online call center loan officer is not going to walk you through this stuff. They don't have that time. But when you work with a mortgage advisor, this is our job, to show you these strategies and show you what a big difference we can make.
So guys, that is in the Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind Facebook group. I'm actually scrolling, looking for it. It's kind of old, although hopefully not old. It's like a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, I posted it. I will pin that to the top. I would push every mortgage coach, like, watch that, study that. Sean Herrero also did one a couple days later, and maybe it was the same day. It was similar. Do you know Sean, by the way?
I don't.
So you should watch his version of that. You guys, I'm surprised you said you don't know him, because it was almost like you guys were collaborating. It was such a similar approach with a similar headline. And by the way, guys, Sean Herrero is a guy in his first 6 years of the business became a $200 million producer who so happens to create amazing content, trains and teaches realtors at scale. Someone you should become friends with. So I'll make sure I introduce you to.
The cool thing about this, like using the mortgage coach to couple with the seller buy down, is that a lot of lenders out there are talking about the seller buy down, right? But then there's misinformation, right? So then I had a listing agent call me and she's like, well, I don't even know why your buyer's agent is negotiating for us to buy down the rate, because rates are going to be down in the 4s next year. So your buyer could refinance. So isn't the better price better anyways? And I said, maybe not. You have to run an analysis. And to run that analysis, you need a tool like Mortgage Coach, because I myself had clients buying a house and the seller was willing to throw 2% at either reducing the price or buying down the rate. And I thought, well, if I could refinance them next year, maybe I should do the price reduction. I plugged it into Mortgage Coach. I ran the short-term analysis. Instead of for 60 months, I moved it down to 18 months, because give or take, that could be when we see the next refi window. And even to my surprise, the buy down on the rate made more sense, saved them more money. So I did my homework to be a good advisor and actually ran the numbers for them. And a lot of us can't do this in our regular loan software. So having the ability to plug that into Mortgage Coach and make sure that buying down the rate was better than a price reduction for them in the short term and in the long run positioned me really well as their advisor.
So I want to call something out that I think is really important that Shivani just said. I'm actually going to show my screen. There was an article in the Wall Street Journal over the weekend that caught my attention. It was actually shared in Slack by our CEO, Rich Harris, saying, hey, check out this article. And the article was all about what is good leadership like now versus pre-COVID. And there were a couple of big takeaways that I hope every loan officer pays attention to. And one of those is, the top five traits in 2002, pre-COVID. Again, these are traits of great leaders measured by the Drucker Institute: tolerance to ambiguity, adaptability, risk-taking, openness to differences, and trust. Guys, in 2022, trust has gone up as a trait of importance. And for the first time, curiosity has become one of the traits of great leaders. And what Shivani just demonstrated, by what she said, curiosity, like she doesn't have an ego around it. Like, maybe numbers don't lie. Let's do the numbers. And you know what? Curiosity creates trust. Another takeaway from this article was that the competencies of the best leaders pre-COVID were builds effective teams, drives engagement, communicates effectively, collaborates, cultivates innovation. For the first time in history, instills trust became one of the top competencies of great leaders. So like curiosity instills trust. Guys, it's never been more important than it is today. And another, just making a case for this, the Elderman, or what's it called? The Elderman score. It's the barometer of trust in America. I don't know exactly how many years it's been going. This year, for the first time in history in America, distrust beats trust. Like, that's just what time it is in the world. Like, distrust is the default. that we have in America. That's just what time it is. So the more you could do things in exactly what she's doing, like be curious, numbers don't lie, bring leadership to families, bring leadership to realtors, because that is a formula to win. Any comments on that article or thoughts on it?
I'm teaching a class on Thursday for realtors, and trust is one of the big things I'm going to talk about, because the class is about how your business plan, how your messaging, both in conversations one-on-one with clients and at large, through your social media, needs to center around building trust. Because you guys have heard this before, right? There's tons of real estate coaches that say we're not selling homes or mortgages, we're selling trust. And so right now, if you have not changed your messaging based with this market cycle, like there's been a huge market shift, and every week we're dealing with what feels like a brand new market, a whole new set of conditions. If your messaging is still the same as it was a year ago, then that's actually creating distrust, right? Because people are like, how are you not talking to what's happening right now? How are you not talking to your referral partners about it? How are you just ignoring this big elephant in the room that everything has changed and people are freaked out? But I don't want to be the person who's spreading fear, right? I'm seeing tons of realtors and other lenders in my marketplace post like the rates have gone up and they're holding a bottle of whiskey, or like people crying in the shower. But to me, I want to be the person who's the source of calm. So I want to say, okay, yes, things have changed. Let's explore this together. Let's navigate some new strategies that can help you succeed in this market. Let me find the opportunity for you instead of scaring you.
I love that. Well, I want to just get like a playbook. What is your formula? Like trust is the goal. Being the source of calm is something that you embody and that you're trying to bring to the marketplace. What's the playbook? What are the tactics and things that you're doing? If I wanted to just break that down into competencies, just like what I just showed you, it had like 5 competencies, 5 traits of someone that brings calm to the market as a mortgage professional. What would be those traits and competencies in your opinion?
Number 1 is be real. Like my whole brand is centered around the fact that I'm very unfiltered and I'm very real. Like I get in trouble for it sometimes. I probably swear too much. I've gotten in trouble with HR a couple times, but people know they can count on me for the unfiltered truth. I'm going to tell it to them like it is. I'm not going to try to sell them something. I'm not going to try to spin the conditions. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm going to tell it to you like it is, because I believe that when people are given all of their options, when people are properly educated, they will make the right decision. So I use tools in my business to help educate them, to create full transparency, because I believe given that information, they're going to make the right decision. And I truly believe that buying a home right now is still the right decision. So if that changes and I no longer believe then that's the right thing for me to be advising people, I will be advising them differently. But study the market closely. Look at your local housing market and know all of the data so that you can see what is your honest, true opinion. Like ask yourself that conversation first. Before a buyer asks you that, before someone calls you and starts rate shopping you, ask yourself, like, do I think these rates are good? Do I think it's a good time to buy? Do I think this is the right loan program for them? And then when you've convinced yourself, you're ready to talk to them.
Yeah, well, and I would make the case that most loan officers that don't use MortgageCoach, that are just giving fee worksheets, they're not being curious. They're just assuming that they know it all, and they're just,
Well, how could you do a fee worksheet and know if they should reduce the price or buy down the rate? Like, what are you doing? How is that fee worksheet telling you this? Comparing the two? I mean, you've got to probably be then running some pretty complicated spreadsheets, and I didn't do that well in math. So
right. Well, we'll come to MortgageCoach in the second half of the call. I really want to break down your formula, and my instincts are that it is a little bit more than just be real and be unfiltered. Give me another.
Okay, so that's step 1. Be real with your clients. Be real with your referral partners. Be real. Step 2 is the transparency part that I just said. So anything you're going to advise someone, show them all of it. Show them the full story. Don't try to hide things. Don't apologize for the rates. Don't defend the market. Show them the data. You need to have like some sort of data source you're using to provide your clients with the median home price in the area, the historical rates of appreciation forecasted. Like use this information so that you can educate people properly about what the numbers look like, because like Dave just said, the numbers don't lie. So I start with being real. Then I make sure that I have evidence to back up what I'm saying. Numbers, I've read the recent news. I know what's going on. I stay informed.
What's
The next thing. What'd you say, Dave?
I said, what's next? What's the next thing?
You have to share this with people. So you can't only rely on the conversations you're having in your office. You have to put this out at scale. You have to use your social media or your newsletter. You have to incorporate video. You've got to be delivering this message out, because if you're not sharing what you know, then you're kind of doing a disservice to everyone in your sphere, right? Because you are an expert on this stuff. So help your friends, help your family, help your sphere know share what you know with them. You're the local real estate expert. So tell it to them. You're not trying to sell them anything. You're not trying to shove anything down their throats. You're sharing useful information with them, and people will always receive that well. So make sure that everybody knows everything that you know. Because then that leads to the fourth part of this, which is people reaching out to you for advice. So you're not going to have as many people calling you and saying, hey, I'm ready to buy tomorrow. But they're going to call you and say, hey, I kind of wanted to talk to you about the market and where you see things going. I saw that video you posted, or I got your email, and I'm curious, like, can we talk more about that? About what you're seeing, what your boots on the ground, what you're noticing, conversations you're having, real-time trends that you're feeling. Can you walk me through those? Then you walk the client through those, and then they feel a lot more comfortable about making a move in this market, because they're thinking, okay, there's more to this story than what I'm seeing in the headlines. Maybe the media is just trying to scare me and things aren't actually that bad.
So 4 steps: be real, unfiltered, also authenticity, I think would fit into that.
Offer complete transparency.
Radical authenticity in the case of Shivani. I think anybody that knows her would say, yeah, like, she's extremely authentic in a very positive, cool way, in my opinion. Transparency, and to me, in the mortgage decision, transparency is not just showing the cost to close a loan, it's showing the cost over different times that matter to the consumer. So some consumers really care about 3 years from now. And like, if you're talking to someone in the military, they're worried about, hey, I might get transferred in 2 years, and what does that mean to me? If you're talking to someone that's a first-time home buyer who, either doesn't have kids or has really young kids, it might be like 3, 5, 7 years that really matters to them. And then remember, the time that matters most to everyone is financial freedom. Like, yes, there's this long-term period, 10, 20, not 30. Like, I don't know anyone that wants to be in debt and not be financially free for 30 years. Like,
but you do know, you have to acknowledge, you don't know what financially free means to everybody. Financial freedom means something different to everyone. And I'm studying psychology in graduate school right now. I'm getting my master's in marriage and family therapy, because I think that, I'm doing therapy in my office every day right now with clients on qualifying them for mortgages and talking about money. So I should probably be like better credentialed to give that therapy. And one of the things we're studying in psychology is that as a therapist, it's not my job to tell people what to do. And this was like an aha moment for me, that I was like, okay, I'm not going to tell them what to do. I thought that's like why they come to me. My job is to help them figure out what they want to do. So I totally translated that into my mortgage business right away. My job is not to tell you to do a 30-year fixed and buy down and have the seller buy down your rate 2 points. My job is to show you all of the options that are available to you, all of the strategies that are available to you, and help you figure out what you want to do. Because when you empower people like that, they feel a lot more confident about moving forward in the process. They get excited.
Wow. So I just want to pause for a minute. First of all, marketing team, let's make some micro content out of that, but some other stuff that she's done. Also, before this call started, I asked Shivani if she would be our next masterclass master. This coming Wednesday at 11 Pacific, Jeremy Forcier is going to be a master. We're going to teach this masterclass. It's a new series that MortgageCoach and Sales Boomerang are doing. We will put a link in chat. Nicole, if you could put a link to sign up for that in the chat of this, and I'll get it in the Facebook group. If you're watching this in YouTube, we'll have a link to sign up for this, not this Wednesday, next Wednesday's Jeremy Forcier Masterclass. But Shivani, I want you to make that one of the things that you teach. And really, I want you to think, as you prepare for this masterclass, like, I think we should just center the whole thing around these 4 things, how to build, and maybe this is the title, how to create trust in a world where distrust is the default. Like that is the world we live in. I think people intuitively know that. And then maybe in the masterclass, there's a micro lesson or 2 on how to really be real. Like, what does that mean? Transparency, how to really deliver transparency at scale. And maybe we use a couple TCAs for that. How to share your value at scale, and maybe you think of a 5 to 10 minute class on how you made a video, and maybe that video is the one, because while there's some really polished, expensive, high production videos, which I'm a fan of. I mean, your brother Neil does an incredible job. I think next week he's going to be in town and he's going to come to my house and we're going to create some content together. So I'm going to learn more about, by the way, did you know that I'm hanging out with your brother next Monday?
Yeah, he told me.
Yeah, I'm super pumped. Neil, if you're watching this, I can't wait to have you over to the little Savage Innovation Lab and create some magic together. And then number 4, which is to make sure that when you create this content and you do it at scale and they come into your office, they're really getting something special. And I think what Shivani just said, we all don't need to, go get our graduate degree, but you do need to come from a heart of curiosity. Like, and that is something that, it's not easy to do, but you could do it quick and it could be cheap and it can happen fast. It's just a shift in the mindset. And then you have to walk people through this experience. So what are your thoughts on the masterclass we do is really built around how Shivani, you're going to teach us how to do that. What do you think about that?
I like it because I bet there's a lot of people watching right now who are sick of defending their rates or sick of defending the market or sick of defending like that now is a good time to buy or not. And if we can take that pressure of defending things away and just explore it with the client, then we can create a much better foundation for a relationship that's built on trust with the client.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So before we move into tactically, like first half, get to know you a little bit more. I feel like we've really done that at a high level. We've got 4, what I'd call just strategies. Anything else you want to share before we just go tactical? I want to get some scripts out of you. I want to see some sample TCAs, we'll see where that goes, but anything else at a high level strategic perspective you want to share?
I just think that, and I talked about this 10 months ago on my call, that markets shift, right? The only thing we know for sure in this business is that things are going to change because they always change on us, whether it's, rates or whether it's guidelines and what's required. A lot of us just went through COVID, right? Where we had to do before we could fund the loan, we had to verify their employment in real time down to the 30 seconds before we ordered our wire. We're always up against changing conditions. And I think that you have to use these market cycles to keep building a foundation in your business to prepare for the next opportunity. Because just like things change all the time, there's always an opportunity around the corner. And one of the reasons that I was so successful for the past few years was because I laid a foundation in my business for the 2 years before that. And if you can do that now, if you can be laying that foundation and developing your business plan and developing the voice that you use as a mortgage advisor, your personal brand, then as things change yet again, you'll be better prepared for that opportunity. So I know the market's really tough right now. And I talk to loan officers and realtors every day who are talking about how hard it is. And I don't want to turn a deaf ear to that. It is hard, but I think that you can find ways to go hard in your business right now. And that'll motivate you. That'll get you excited and it'll get you ready for the next turn of events.
Love that. And Marina just asked, can I watch the 2 masterclasses that already are there? And yeah, they're in the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel. I've actually created a playlist for the masterclasses. So I'll share that, but just go in there. One of them is Keith Collins. The other one is Socia Avila. By the way, they're incredible. It is some of the absolute best content I've ever been involved in creating a Mortgage Coach. One of the things that's really neat about this is we're inviting one person who's a master, someone that is doing incredible production, someone that we think is representing the future of the industry. And then they invite a student, someone that they've either been a mentor to or they're new to the business. So there's this kind of dynamic of master-student dialogue. And Alex and myself, Alex, the chief vision officer for MortgageCoach and Boomerang, who is the founder of Sales Boomerang, him and I are on it as facilitators, but we literally are off camera most of the call. Like we'll come on, we'll open it, we'll frame it, we'll jump off camera, and then it's just master, teacher, lessons. And it's not rehearsed, but it's intentional. Like it's an intentional, like, here's some chapters to the story, here's some takeaways we want you to have. And then when Alex and I want to either ask a question or jump in, we'll turn on the camera. So you're really getting to learn from someone that is an absolute master in this business. So check out those master classes. We'll put a link to those. And Shivani will be masterclass number 4, assuming we can make those schedules work. Okay, so what I took as number 5 is planning. Like you're, and it sounds like you're doing 2-year cycles. So you feel like who you are today and how you're winning today is something that you've been executing and working on for 2 years. Is that number 5, you know, to really building a brand and a practice that creates trust? You've got a 2-year cycle that you're working. Is that what you said?
I don't know if it's 2 years, but it's like you're constantly looking ahead, right? Like you're not looking at just this market, because that could sometimes bum you out. You got to be looking ahead for what's next, what's around the corner, that you're like, anticipate what's going to change, because we know things are always changing. So in your business, don't always be reacting to what's happening right now. Be forecasting what's coming next and building a plan for that. So
one of the things I've been sharing from stages, and it came when I worked with Kristen Messerly. Her and I created this the mid-year playbook, you know, halftime playbook.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I had a big takeaway from is that the best of the best, they're judging their success by different metrics. You know, for the past 2 years, it's like, I closed this many loans and I helped this many families, and it was record breaking, and it was very happy times. But one of the things I've noticed a lot of loan officers doing is, hey, let's focus on conversion. Let's focus on not having a lot of price exceptions. Let's focus on customer satisfaction scores. Let's focus on my influence in social media. I mean, let's face it, guys. The next generation is learning most of their skills on social media. Like my son, who was a D1 lacrosse player at Face Off, who lived in Oregon, you know, he learned how to be that D1 kid on the West Coast on YouTube and TikTok, you know, and following these things. And most people that are on social media, they're learning like the financial literacy training that's taking place on Instagram and Facebook. It's real, you know, and I mean, that's,
but you should take it seriously too, because there's so many gurus out there on TikTok and on Instagram sharing stuff, and they don't know what they're talking about. And like, it's a lot of noise, right? So you can come on there and you can share valuable information because you guys are trained to do so, because you're working in this industry. So this is a value you can provide people that you almost have a responsibility to do, to combat all these other people out there just spreading nonsense and misinformation.
So here's what I'm going to put for number 5, guys. So I'm going to readjust this, because there's a quote. I don't know whose quote it is, but it goes like this: the illiterate of the 21st century are not those who can't read and write. There are those that can't learn, unlearn, and relearn. Like that is the superpower. And that's kind of what you said. And you've been building skills, unlearning, relearning, things for a couple of years now that are positioning you for the future as the mortgage professional you want to be. And in this case, you know, being an advisor, by the way, guys, Shivani has created 1,891 total cost analysis, her and her team. So she's been building her skills as an advisor for a long time. So far, she's done 29 of these things in the last 30 days. So her and her team are delivering advice at scale. So she's great at it. And now she's creating social media content so that she can scale that advice. So, all right. So I think we covered strategies. Let's go tactical. I'll give you one more chance to say anything else. Anything else you want to share before we get tactical?
I'm ready.
All right. So I want to make sure I know how you're doing seller buy downs now, because that is a huge strategy to create affordability options in the, like that's a problem in the marketplace. Rates have got, affordability was already an issue, and now rates have doubled. Affordability is an even bigger issue for consumers. So how are you teaching and training seller buy downs? If you have one to show, I would love for you to, whenever you want to show it on your screen, show it, but teach the mortgage coach community, Shivani Peterson style, how you're talking and teaching realtors and consumers the seller buy down.
So we actually have a fun class.
Oh, hey, before you click on that, click on settings in the upper right-hand corner before you click on that. So guys, proof positive, it's actually 1,935 TCAs. They've been viewed 13,658 times. So guys, that's scale. Like for every time she's creating a total cost analysis, what is that? On average, 6 to 7 people are viewing it. So for all you loan officers that are doing fee worksheets and it's a PDF, you're not teaching at scale. And she, look at that, 111. That's kind of crazy. She's created over 1,000 mortgage coach videos, guys, and that doesn't count all the other videos she's done on social media. So just make sure, we've gamified learning mortgage coach, and Shivani is playing at the highest level. And she's one of the best mortgage coaches in America. All right, go to what you were showing, Shivani.
So I mentioned on Thursday, we're doing a fun class for realtors. And we kind of wanted to talk about the seller buy down thing because there is a bit of noise in our marketplace with listing agents being like, it doesn't really make sense, as I mentioned before. And so we wanted to show people how it does. And my partner, one of my teammates, is actually on her honeymoon, but she comes back for this class. So she recorded the video from the steps of the Vatican. And I thought it'd be fun.
No way. How
Show
cool.
it. But it's cool. Like you can make these videos like a chance to connect with people, right? Because that's the goal of the video. The mortgage coach is there. It shows the number. But when you add the video and you become a real person,
And
it
click
takes
that little X so we can see the video. Check her
takes it to the
out.
next level.
I'm here at the Vatican filming this video because it's just so important that you guys can understand the seller buy down. And it's kind of a cool background. So as you can see in this report, when a client is getting a seller credit of $10,000, rather than reducing the sales price of $10,000, it is far more beneficial for them because they can use that credit to buy down their interest rate, and that significantly reduces their monthly payment compared to the lower purchase price. It's also really important to make sure that your clients are seeing these numbers before they're in the negotiation, so they're confident. If they aren't, give us a call because we will.
Isn't that cute?
That is so cute. So cool. So
And you can see like it does make sense. Like it's saving them on a monthly basis. Over the next 5 years, it's saving them a lot. Like we can speak confidently in this advice because we've run the numbers.
So when I interviewed Nicole Ruth, who is using this seller buy down, she's doing it all. Like she's created TCAs, put a video on it, shared that in Facebook. She's done it on BombBomb. She's, emailed it out to her databases. And then she's also creating micro ones where she'll pick a specific property with a specific listing that she wants to help, and she'll create kind of like a prototype, and then she'll go to a listing agent. So those were like the two things I took from my interview with her. What are some of the different ways you're using the seller buy down to teach realtors at scale? Like what is Shivani doing?
So we really like doing that, showing them how when the video, right, with the mortgage coach. So that's why we're going to play that at the class, because we want them to see that when the client gets this information, we're there explaining it to them. We're walking them through it so that the advice is really clear. But we also want them to show this to like their listing agents. We want them to say, take this report with them to a listing presentation and show like, I work with local advisors who will help me move your listing. So Once it sits X number of days, these are some of the strategies that I'm going to suggest that we start marketing along with the listing, because you don't need to just be telling this to your buyer's agents. You can be helping your realtors who want to focus on listings, because let's be honest, that's what a lot of realtors want to do. So we need to find ways to support them in that aspect of their business as well. We can say, hey, use this in your listing presentation to show some tools on things you'll be able to pull out from your back pocket if the house doesn't move quickly, and strategies you've developed in your toolbox for this market.
Yeah, so everybody, thank you for keeping the nice comments coming. John said, boom, gold. Kimberly said, insane, in a positive way, that is.
I hope.
Marina said, can you share the TCA link, please? And we will get a TCA link to you. So Shivani, do you mind after this call sharing at least one TCA link?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, cool. Any other seller buy downs that you want to share or teach? You know, we got about 18 minutes left. And then I
This
also
was a
want to give
cool
you a
one,
chance. Is there
because
another one?
this client had, like, you know, a really strict pre-approval amount, but we wanted to show them because they're buying a home, they're buying at the max of where they qualify, and they are, like, you know, it's down to the dollar on how they feel comfortable with this monthly payment. And so the realtor over the weekend was really stressed out. She's like, they can't decide between offering 300, offering 305. The listing agent's coming at me to defend my logic on my negotiating. And I was like, okay, don't worry. Like, we'll plug every micro detail into their report for them. We don't mind. We want to show them. So literally, like, we're getting down to like differences that aren't huge, but we're showing them, okay, here's 300,000. Here's with the 10K buy down. If the seller's not willing to do that much, let's try 305 with the 5K buy down. It's still beneficial for you. So I think it's helpful to like show your clients that, okay, we may not get everything we wanted, but if we get some, look how you're still winning. And we used to do this with the price differences, right? Like, if we have to offer, 12 months ago, I was showing people this report and I was showing them, if you offer 5,000 above asking so that you can get this house off the market, it's not a huge difference on your monthly payment, and it gets this house for you. So we can also show them the other way. If we can't get a whole $10,000 buy down, we can get a $5,000 one, and that'll still help you. And I think that's really key, right? Is keeping the client feeling like they're winning.
So Shivani, if you could, for the masterclass, let's plan on doing like a 5, no more than 10-minute, you know, seller buy down with the TCA as part of the masterclass. Also, I've been, you know, the quote, marry your house and rent the mortgage. I mean, that's been going for months now, but I've recently seen the, you know, marry the house, rent the mortgage, divorce your rent. And I actually interviewed Jeremy Forcier yesterday. We just did like a 20-minute interview on how he's telling that story in the marketplace. Is that something, you know, is that a conversation you're having? You might have a different way of doing it. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, we're definitely having the conversation with people about how, you know, the price you paid for the home is set in stone, right? But the mortgage, you have so many options.
You can
have
stop sharing your screen real quick, because I want to, when you're sharing strategy, I want everybody to see you, and we might want to make some micro content out of it. And then, okay, go ahead. Keep saying what you're saying.
So we've been doing the conversation with clients that, and on our messaging, that the price you paid for the house is set, right? And right now, buyers do have, in a lot of markets, this unique opportunity to negotiate. So the price you paid for the house is never going to change, but the mortgage, you're not stuck with it. Like, we can refinance it down the line. There's options to reduce that payment. No way am I trying to put you in a payment that you don't feel comfortable with right now. I would want you to feel comfortable with it. I don't have a crystal ball that can tell you exactly when you're going to be able to refinance. But if you can stomach that payment, if we can do it and we can lock down a house for you at a discount, then let's do it, because down the line, we'll have options. We'll have strategies to reduce that mortgage payment.
So you're having that. Now, what about the rent versus own? I have this mission that every first-time home buyer should get a rent versus own. It's a little bit of financial literacy for the consumer. Maybe you don't have to do it. You know, like, hey, they'll do a loan with you. They're committed. But I'm just on this mission that, hey, even if they didn't ask for it, put one together. And obviously, so what are your thoughts on that? And it really also feeds well into the, you know, diverse your rent, like get a home. What are your thoughts?
as in the words of Dave, I don't align with this message of putting out there that like of rent shaming. I'm not down with it at all. Like, I don't like the content about rent. Your interest rate on your rent is 100%, or you're pouring money down the hole, or like, if anyone out there follows Ramit Sethi, he's like anti-home ownership, and he drives me nuts because he's always saying like, you shouldn't feel bad about renting. You know, this American dream has like been shoved down our throats, but it's wrong. And I disagree with that too. Like, that's nonsense, but I'm not down for rent shaming. I don't think that you motivate people to join your community. I don't think you build trust with people by making them feel bad. I do like showing like a rent versus own. And I do like showing the numbers, because then it's not me shoving anything down your throat. The numbers don't lie. I'm just showing you the opportunity here. And I believe in homeownership over renting, but I think we should always approach it from a place of speaking to the consumer with respect. And there's a lot of reasons why people rent. And there are instances when I've told someone that it's not the right time for them to buy. But let the numbers speak, and let someone come to you and feel like it's a safe place to have the conversation.
Wow. I love the way you frame that. Mortgage coach community, that is another piece of micro content. And I even just, after you just said that, I know the way that I have approached that conversation. I don't know if I'd put it as far as rent shaming, but it's definitely on the other side of, everybody should do this. And you're right. Like, if you're really coming from a heart of curiosity, which Shivani clearly is, and humanity, there's a way to have that conversation that's also going to be more effective. You're gonna like if the name of the game is trust, and if the name of the game is truly helping someone achieve financial freedom, their definition of financial freedom, it's just a whole different change. So I just love this conversation. All right, thank you for that. Is there any other total cost analysis before we run out of time? Is there any other TCAs that you're doing in the market right now that you think you're talking to your peers that are mortgage coaches, and some people aren't using the total cost analysis? They're like, I follow this mortgage coach thing and it takes too much time, or they have some story that they tell themselves why they don't do it.
Can I show something that's not about a seller buy down, but showing a buyer like what we could do in a different scenario?
Sure, anything. Or are you using Mortgage Coach with open houses? I'm hearing more and more loan officers using the TCA to help support realtors at open houses. Anything, any other ideas that you're doing?
Yeah, for sure. We do that. And I want to show something a little more specific right now, because we were helping this client like understand how their credit score is affecting their monthly payment and their interest rate. And so we wanted to show her like, okay, you can put 20% down and this would be your interest rate as of Monday. And, let's be honest, that's a shock to people's nervous system right now to see that kind of rate. But then I wanted to show her, like, if we can just get your score up 20 points, look at how much better things could be. Like, that's a huge difference in your monthly payment. So I know I told you, I gave you some homework on some stuff to do with your credit, and you may not be all that excited about it because you qualify now. So I'm not like forcing you to do it. But if you could do it, look at what a big difference it would make. And then I think that's like, again, offering value as an advisor to someone, because she doesn't have to do it for me to get the loan. I can close her loan with the credit score she has now. But I want to show her that I care. I care about the monthly payment she's getting and why she should care about the advice I'm giving. And a way to motivate people is money, and saving money motivates people to take your advice.
Don't leave that and look at it over time. Like it's what was that, 272? So 272 now, and then look at over time, guys. That's an advisor. This is the difference between advice versus price. Loan officers sell price. They give fee worksheets. Mortgage coaches deliver advice. So I love that. So we're at the 9-minute button until we're going to wrap this up. Go ahead and stop sharing your screen. I will get the TCAs, the total cost analysis that Shivani shared with me. We'll put them in links down below. In a month, I don't have a date yet. We'll be working calendars with Shivani to do a full masterclass. And Shivani, we've had over 1,000 people. I think we had like 1,500 people or 1,400 people sign up for Keith Collins. Jeremy said he's going to beat Keith, so we'll see. So it'll be you'll have a big audience, and
Are you telling me this because you think I'm competitive? I'm not a competitive person at all.
you know that I did that. Yeah, of course I did. And I know you're competitive. So just saying, we'll see what kind of attendance your masterclass gets. You got to beat
We'll
Jeremy
see.
Forcier. All right. So closing thoughts. We got 9 minutes. And remember, guys, if you have questions, you have one of America's not just most successful loan officers, but best, like just a great human being that is coming to the table with the consumer, with humility, with curiosity, using technology strategically. So they're getting a very personalized, high touch, high tech experience. Anything else you want to share, Shivani, before we run out of time?
I just want to keep saying that don't get discouraged by this market. I really believe that we can come out on the other side of this in a better place than we were going into it, as long as we keep doing the work. We keep putting the work into ourselves, investing in ourselves as advisors, and then investing in our business by upping your marketing. Go harder right now. Don't pull back. Don't think, okay, I'm going to take a break right now. This is a really tough market. No, dive in deeper, go harder, because you'll be thankful, super thankful 18 months from now that you did that. While everybody else was getting discouraged and backing out, dive in further because it'll pay off tenfold.
So I want to walk you through, kind of the next iteration of MortgageCoach. And this thing that we're doing is we're creating this borrower intelligence platform. Like we don't believe, we know for a fact that your data can become dollars, and data is the new dollar. So I want to walk you through a couple slides, but then I also want to get your feedback on how you're doing this. And part of that, in order for your database to become dollars, you got to be building your database. And that means it's past clients, it's leads, it's realtors. And one of the things that I'm advocating and evangelizing in the market is to make your database so powerful that a realtor would want to give you their database, because they would believe that, hey, your database is better off, or my database is better off in your database. I'm going to close more deals because of the platform that you have. What are your thoughts on that?
That's really cool.
What are you doing to build your database?
If you can get that kind of trust from a realtor, you'd be like next level. If they want to share their data, because people protect their database and their client information with their life. I wouldn't share mine with just anyone. The family, the community I've built of clients and referral partners and potential clients, that's everything. So if you could develop something that would want people to share that with you, that would speak pretty high volumes, right?
Yeah. And guys, I've got some interviews with loan officers that are doing this, and they're doing it at scale. And I'll share those in a minute down below. But here's the strategy, guys. You got to have something that the realtor doesn't have. Most realtors' database looks like this. Like there's a lot of signals that are happening. Consumers that are hitting equity milestones, consumers that do a credit inquiry, consumers whose credit improves by 50 points. But the best lenders and loan officers, they've got signals. They're called trigger alerts. That's kind of the term in the industry. One of the things that we're doing now with MortgageCoach and Sales Boomerang and creating this borrower intelligence platform is we're going from alerts to insights and strategies. And tell me what your thoughts are on this. And an insight is where it's multiple signals in a database, like credit, equity, and like a life event. Someone had a
The
baby.
life event, I think, is really cool, because one of the things we're doing when we work in real estate is we're helping people navigate life's transitions, right? A lot of times people are coming to us at a milestone moment in their life, whether it's the first time they buy a home, or they're, needing to move up because they're growing their family, or they're getting a divorce. Like, we are often helping people through major life events. So having your database inform you of an upcoming one is pretty gold, right?
Yeah, well, that's what we're doing now. We're building this borrower intelligence platform that will take a lender's, all of their databases, unify them, enrich them with credit, equity, life events, and then it will create a MortgageCoach TCA. Like the machine will create this marketing TCA, or this, probably not as good as you and your team can do, but they could do the first version of that and then deliver it. So, this is something that we're really focused on right now.
That's really exciting.
Boomerang. What are your thoughts on that?
I can't wait. That's really, really big time.
Yeah, well, tell Neil and your leadership team we'd love to talk to him and tell him the story and show you how you can turn your database into a fintech powered database. So let's see. Let me see if I've got any questions that are outstanding. Let's close with a script. So I want to get, maybe we have time for 2 scripts. So one would be when you position a total cost analysis to a consumer so that they're like seeing the value. First of all, what do you call it? I mean, do you call it a total cost analysis or do you have another name? And how do you position it so by the time they get it, they're like, wow, this was valuable.
So the way we do this is we want to have like the initial discovery call with the client, whether that's in person or over the phone. But when the realtor or the referral partner has referred someone to you, we want to have that initial discovery call where we get to know them before we send them the loan application to fill out. Then we send them the loan application, they fill it out, we do their income qualification, pull credit, do the pre-approval. We put together the mortgage coach, and the mortgage coach to me is like the bait. It's like, this is why you found me and I'm the advisor you should work with. I want to get you this bait as quickly as possible because the faster I deliver something of value to you, the faster I'm starting to build trust. So we send that mortgage coach out. We call it a home loan report. And we always have a video in there walking them through. And then we say, the next line right after the mortgage coach is, once you've had a chance to check that out, let's set a meeting to go over this in person, strategize on next steps, and let's go set up a time to go over the questions you might have on this report and strategize on next steps. And you always want to say strategize on next steps because you want them to think, oh, what's coming next? Like there's more we need to do before this is wrapped up. Then you've got their attention span longer, and then you can set up another meeting either in person or via Zoom. You go over the mortgage coach together, you go over the market data for your local marketplace to show them, what we can expect in terms of real estate return on investment. You could show them a rent versus own at that point. And then you say, okay, so from here, you're going to start shopping with a realtor. You can request pre-approvals from me using this system. You can go over their protocol with them. So you're training them as a client on what is the best way to do business.
Love that. One more script. How do you position the fact that you're giving this mortgage coach presentation to a borrower as something valuable to a realtor? Where and when does that come into the agent value proposition?
So after you've done this, right, and you've gone over the questions with them, you've talked about if they're comfortable with this monthly payment or do we need to adjust the price point a little bit? At the end of that meeting, then you're reaching out to the realtor, right, to let them know they're ready for you. They're going to call you. They're going to say they want to go shopping. Here's what their qualification looks like. Here's the negotiating tools we'll be able to use. And by the way, I've added you to their mortgage report so that every time they look at it, you'll get an alert. I want them to send me the address to houses before you go show them the property. That way you're not wasting your time showing them properties that they can't afford and that they're not serious about. And then also, if you don't hear from them from a couple weeks, but then you get the alert that they watched their mortgage coach, you can know that's a good time to probably shoot them a text or reach out. We'll keep you in the loop in that way.
Boom, more micro content for the training team. Beautiful. Notice, one of the features within Mortgage Coach is that you can add the agent's mobile email, so they're getting an alert. And you're an extension of their sales process. Think of the professionalism. Home loan report, digital, video. What agent doesn't want to work with a mortgage coach? So Shivani, you were awesome. I did put a link, guys, to another playlist we have. It's called the Sales Boomerang playlist, but it's how to turn your data into a data bank. And it's where I've interviewed loan officers that have done that. So by the way, Shivani, we're doing what I just described. We're doing that now. So I can't wait to get you on the full borrower intelligence platform. Shivani, you were amazing. I can't wait to see your masterclass. One last question. If there was one book you've read that has just been most valuable to you, like there's just one book that just comes to mind really quick that's valuable to you, what would it be?
Professionally?
You answer that question however you want. What's the most valuable book to you today?
Okay, let me tell you 2 things I'm reading right now. So biggest thing of my life is parenting. So Dr. Becky, if you guys aren't following her on Instagram, follow her, but she just released her book, Good Inside. And even as I'm highlighting it, it's not just about parenting. I'm learning about like relationship development. And I think anyone could benefit from that. But I know there's a lot of parents watching this call too.
Yeah,
so check out that book. And then I also recently read The Coddling of the American Mind. So interesting. And you will get so many content pieces, like so many ideas from that you could use for your social media and relay back to the housing market.
Boom, spectacular. I'm going to put this in first of all, not only is this one of the best interviews of 2022. So
You say that to everybody though.
No, I don't. Hey, if you've watched enough of my interviews, I don't. And remember, I said top in 2022. So it's going into that playlist. And then also it's literally been one of the best conversations all time. So it's going to go in that playlist too. So Shivani, you crushed it.
Awesome.
All right. Take care. Appreciate you guys. If you got value, give this a like, share it with your mortgage friends. Make sure you subscribe to the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel. I have one goal this year is to get that north of 20,000 subscribers, and we're on track. But you know, if enough of you got value and liked it, we could get there in a month. So make sure you subscribe. Take care, Shivani.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Take care, everybody.